Okay. Right. Gonna turn it down slightly because that peaks. You do know if I can get that working, that's going to be the theme song for this episode.
Welcome to the podcast.
Are you a beatboxer?
That's
Amateur.
Just make noises.
Oh, all right, fine.
I think I'm less a beatboxer, I'm more annoying. That's what my real passion is. I think just being annoying.
I was going to say, someone said, "Are you a comedian?" And I went, some people would argue that.
My question, my answer is always only when they laugh.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm a poet.
Is that's the Bill Hicks line, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, you don't know that?
No, I'm just as good as Bill Hicks now.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's definitely what I'm taking from this.
Hi, I'm Binty. I'm better than Bill Hicks.
Binty Hicks.
Oh God, that's
a really bad tribute.
That's a proper redneck name, that isn't it? My name's Binty Hicks.
Hello and welcome to the Ask the Industry podcast, episode 115. I'm comedian Simon Caine, and for those of you new to the show, this is the podcast where I interview the most influential people from the worlds of stand-up, comedy, radio, and today, the Liverpool comedy circuit. Binty Blair is the co-owner and founder of Hot Water Comedy Club in Liverpool, along with his brother Paul, who is not in this podcast, co-founded the club back in 2010. Since then, it's opened new venues and developed a reputation nationally as one of the best places to gig, as well as one of the best places to watch comedy. We talked about developing a club, earning a reputation, why they haven't got a blacklist, what it takes to get a gig at their club, their ethos, and how that has not only made them stand out, but set them aside from other comedy clubs in the area and nationally. I think it was a brilliant episode. I think a lot of people who maybe want to start their own club, maybe not at a purpose-built venue, but want to start a club or a room, could learn a lot from the way that these guys run their operation and have such a driving force behind them that allows them to make decisions based on the original idea and ethos that they began with. Before I hit play on this episode, I want to very quickly say to you, I'm doing the Edinburgh Festival. I don't have any more details than that. I am doing it with Sweet Venues in the Grass Market, but I have yet to confirm the time slot or the room. All you need to know at this point is I'll be in Edinburgh 2019, so please look out for me there. If you'd like to support me before that, I'm going to be previewing around the country from about January, February time. And I'm also going to be doing a tour directly after Edinburgh. I'm sorry that I don't have any more information than that. I just want to use this opportunity to flag that to you. And if you want to know more information or get the most up-to-date information, you can follow me on Twitter at @thismademecool, or you can go to my website, which is simoncaine.co.uk, where you can find all the information about the current show and development of it and all that sort of stuff. So please. Oh, and also, almost forgot. Also, I am doing my 2018 show at the Bloomsbury Theatre in London. I'm doing it on the 21st of March 2019. Oh God, I nearly said 18. 2019. It's going to be really good. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to have some support acts. I'm going to make like a proper deal of the night. It might be, I'm still sorting this out as well, it might be getting recorded for a DVD. And by DVD, I mean YouTube, and selling it as a pen stick at gigs. I'm not trying to master the antiquated medium of DVDs, although there's a lot less competition in there now, so I might be able to become the master of DVDs. Although my laptop doesn't even have a DVD, like a CD drive, so I don't know, it just seems a redundant thing to have. But pen sticks, as long as they don't start bringing out USB Type-C pen stick seems like a logical way of selling this. I'm going to shut up. Please do support me at any of those things. There's links all up in the show notes. If you're new here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're old here, please do remember to give us an honest, ideally positive review in iTunes. And either way, please do consider joining the Facebook group. It's called Ask the Industry Podcast, and it's on Facebook, obviously. But for now, without any more delays, this is Binty Blair.
I think before we started, I don't think Liverpool had much of a scene. I mean, it had pro clubs, but it didn't have anything for up-and-coming talent. And for us, given Liverpool's reputation for its sense of humour and grassroots comedy, it didn't have any. So there wasn't anywhere for someone to start out and actually learn the craft. It was just, you're done. Or nothing. So there was kind of a gap that needed filling. That's kind of where we came at the other end. So we've played the long game, thinking that we'll start with the newer acts, and we did do some pro nights as well, but we didn't know any of them. So we started at the back end with all the newer stuff and just played the long game and figured in 5-6 years they'll just be good. And then we'll have, you know, a new type of circuit. I mean, we didn't put that much thought into it, to be fair. We just wanted to make people laugh and just do gigs. So we just kind of did it with common sense. We didn't look at the circuit. We didn't look at the competition. Like, probably the worst business model ever. You know, where's your SWOT analysis? What analysis? You know, we just didn't do that much because we didn't want to be tainted by history. You know, we just sort of went forward and we just did comedy with the common sense of, hey, can everyone see? You know, can they hear? Oh, that's great. Yeah. And then I was always surprised about how many people would come and go, oh, this is a really well run gig. I was like, why? Like, because they can see the stage. Like, but apparently that's not as common sense on the circuit as you would think.
You've been at the Fringe 4 days, you must know that it's not every venue.
Yeah, I can't stop looking at venues and think, you know what I do here?
Yeah.
It's just inbuilt in me, I think, to just look and analyse and just be like, I put more seats in here, you know. But so yeah, as for me, I mean, to be fair, I didn't actually go to that much comedy before. I've always been into making people laugh, not comedy. There is a distinct difference. It just happens that people laugh from comedy. Yeah. But for me, it was always just about making people laugh. And my brother started the club, and I was just there. Right. And then I ended up just getting absorbed into it to help because I'm big brother. Yeah. I ended up just sort of helping, and then it's just kind of escalated and just evolved into a thing that is apparently now just massive. But for me, I still think of it as the thing that we started out as, with 12 people in a nightclub that seated 280 people, which is our first gigs. Oh. So I think I may have answered the question in that somewhere. There's somewhere in there. There's edited down to a sentence.
Yeah. Time has passed is what we'll go with. That's pretty much. I think it was Bentage. I might have got this wrong, but I asked him about this, and I said, "How's your comedy show going?" And I think it was him who said, "I'm not a comedian. Remember, I'm an artist working in comedy." And it was like one of those weird ones where you go, "Oh yeah," because they can be distinctive between the two. Where you go, "I just want to make people laugh," or "I want to do a comedy." Like there can be a distinction between the two. So you've just always been the older brother joker type thing.
Yeah, I consider myself more of a purist, like Gary Delaney. You know, he's in it for the laughs. Yeah. You know, and like I'm not the business side of things. I keep it grounded, so it's balanced.
I'm glad I got the right side of this.
Yeah, well, basically, my brother is the business side, the marketing side. He's like kind of the brain of the club, and then I just sort of, he deals with the many, and I deal with the one. Right. So I deal with the customer in front of me. He deals with the customers that aren't there yet, and so I just keep it grounded. So he's the brain, and I'm more the heart that keeps it personal, and he keeps it from going completely under. Yeah. I just spend the money, and he goes, "Hey, can we have a word?" Yeah. Like if I had my own way, there'd be slides. Like leading to no chairs. Money. Yeah. But if he had his way, it would be seats and seats, and it would be a good, well-run machine. But it would lack that personal experience, which I think I bring. And without him, it would just be a mess.
So I presume you were not allowed near the new club until it opened.
I built it.
Oh, okay.
I built the new club
to his specification. Oh,
no. Okay. No. I design and build most of the stuff with the help of. Like Robin Perkins helped with the design of the first club, but she helped with the second one as well. But basically, we just build it with the common sense, and I think I just want this. I want this here and this there and this there, and then I build it, and then everyone falls out with me because there's no plan. And then we all have a breakdown, and I end up just doing it myself, watching a YouTube video and just going, "Hey, I can do this. What can it be?" Apparently very. But I just keep everything based in a sense of humour. You know, I want this here because I think it'd be funny. I want that. I want this. Like the first club's designed with a joke because we have a stage in front of the entrance to the theatre, and the entrance to the theatre is only about. It looks like an 8-foot room. It looks tiny. So there's a stage in front of it, and everyone thinks that's the show. When we first opened, people think that was where the show was going to be. They would move tables and chairs. People were like, "I'm not standing for the whole show." Yeah. 2 people walked in, left, emailed us later and going, "Oh, we didn't like that. There was no, you couldn't see the stage." And then when we would open a door, it would be the punchline. So it was the feeder as the stage you could see, and then we open the door and it's the reveal. You know, you'd have people pulling up chairs, and then we'd open the door, and then the friends would just laugh at them. So even the club itself has got a joke built into it. It's meant to just be funny because it's purpose built. We've got the shell of a building and just completely just designed a personal club that had no limitations because there was just breeze block and nothing else. So we just built whatever we wanted, and we just went, hey, this will be funny. Hey, how about this? This will be funny. Sometimes you just make things just stupid, like you can't access them, because I just think, hey, this will be dead funny. Yeah. We have a second room in our club, and you have to leave the venue to get to it.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I just think it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, do you think that might be awkward? Nah, it'll be funny.
I think making something too slick means you lose out on a story.
Yeah, I think it should be slick, but without pretentiousness.
Yeah,
just because we don't want to be that branded machine where this is how you do comedy now. You get this and this and this colour and this kit, and then you just order it from a pro forma. Yeah, and then someone puts it together, and you think like where's the heart? Where's the love that's gone into it? And every single room is bespoke to a degree, from everything from the size of the stage to the pitch of the ramps and everything else. It's just what lighting are we using, how can I make it better, and we constantly go forward with new venues and then backtrack to the old venues and add in the new stuff that we've learned, even what soundproofing to use, because we just had to become all of these things just to build a club, because we didn't know anyone who did it, so we just had to just keep learning, like fire regs, and then soundproofing. What's soundproofing? It's like, can people just not talk quiet, or So everything was just built personally. What was the question?
I just asked how you were. I didn't know. We haven't got into this yet, mate.
Where am I?
I know what you mean. I think just taking something that people aren't expecting and being fun. I'll show you this after. I made a 7-foot box, and I put my poster in it, and underneath, like, cut a hole, and then below that it says, please do not look in this box. Because instead of putting posters up, I thought it'd be more fun to hide it and then push out a big green box that has it in. Yeah. And then when anyone walks up to it, I just come up behind them and go, I did ask you not to look in the box, but if you'd like the information, here is a flyer. Just watch their face go, what? But why can't I? Okay, fine.
See, on paper that sounds like a terrible business model. Yeah. But from a comedy point of view, you're just like, because I think there's more of a reward to the one that looks than all the people that might actually follow the advice.
Exactly.
So Simon, why is your show so quiet? Well, it's quiet, but I've dedicated fans. I mean, they really wanted to come.
The target demo for this gig is definitely pedants who like to adventure.
Yeah, they didn't know the consequences when they looked in the box. They saw the show, so they do now. But I love that kind of thing. But like I said, I come at it from a purely sense of humour point of view.
Exactly.
Going, this would be dead funny, and then this is where my brother comes in and just goes, but what about actual money? We'll be broke in a week. But they'll have laughed. Once. And then we're gone.
It's to celebrate our 6 years. Can we not just paint the walls gold? Just let's make it. Why not? Why would that be funny? Because think of how much we'll be in debt. It seems like I like you better than your brother, I'll be honest with you. just based on that, I feel like I spend money on frivolous things because I think it'll be amusing. Yeah. And people then say to me, but you're broke, and I'm like, yeah, but I was broke before. Like, I'm just more. It's not like it's going to be better or anything.
Well, when I get back to the club, I've got a display case that I want to fill with jelly beans.
Nice.
For no reason. Okay. Goes, can you guess how many? No. No, you can just look at them.
You look at the jelly beans.
Just know that somebody spent a lot of money on a lot of jelly beans for one person to go.
You're going to put like a little plaque next to it that just says, I don't care how many are in here.
Yeah, probably will.
That'd be quite fun, actually. Okay, so you start 2010. Well, your brother started, then you weren't maybe involved at that point.
So basically, I think I've pretty much been to every gig.
Oh, okay.
I was always there helping because, it's a family thing. And he started it with his business partner, but then at the beginning, like all businesses, it lost money, and I don't think his business partner had the same love for comedy as my brother. So then he sort of backed out, and I just went, oh yeah, I'll do it. Right. So then me and brother put money in out of our own jobs that we were doing at the time.
What were you doing?
I was a manager.
Okay.
I think I was a manager and a teacher.
Keep it vague.
Well, I worked at a petrol station, so it wasn't like a great paying job, but so me and my brother basically put in like £1,000 between us to keep the club going, because it's dead expensive. Because most people don't know is that comedy clubs follow a similar path as comedians. You know, you go from an open spot, and we go from a gig in a room, and then you go to like your first trial spot, and then we'll get like a residency somewhere, and then you go like, oh, now I'm getting a pay gig, and now we've got maybe a mic, you know, and then you get a trial at the Comedy Store, and then we get a big name act, finally someone with a TV credit. I think the first TV act we ever got was Gary Delaney. So he's actually a good friend of the club now, you know, and he's a milestone of our actual journey, and we've actually got his profile on the wall of the new club.
Oh, cool.
So we've got 12 panels in the new club, and it's kind of like a jazz bar themed club, because all our bars are themed. Well, one's a street theme, so it's got street lights and pavements, and second floor we're on, and we use real paving slabs. We could have just used concrete and moulded it. That would have been much lighter and easy. But no, 70 kilo paving slabs. So 2 flights of stairs, please. Are you sure? Yeah, just do it. I'm so sore and tired. So the street theme, and then this one, because we operate more like a Weatherspoons. Right. In that it always stinks of pee. No, we operate like a Weatherspoons in more that we use the building itself to dictate the design of the bar. So we inherited some stuff with the new venue, so it wasn't like the original one where we had carte blanche to just do whatever we wanted. We had to work around certain things. So we've got 12 panels, and on them we paint the profile pictures of comedians who've been part of the milestones of the club. I'm not even sure if Gary Delaney knows. He's on the wall. He might not like it. Sorry, Gary. But it's classy. It's classy. You can't even see the cockpits on it or anything.
Yes. I'm sure you'll just be adding them on later on. So you're bringing in new acts. So I assume it's a new material. It's a new act night at the start. And other clubs are bringing in TV names, big names. We're talking like Jimmy Carr, Gary Delaney, those sort of touring acts. Is that about right? I think probably not Jimmy Carr, but he's Echo Arena or above now. So, but I mean, to be fair, we always approached it from a grassroots point of view, and then we have the high profile end on the weekends. But we got every type of spot. So we've got the brand new acts for hobbyists and people just wanting to get in, and then we do new material nights, but we have new material nights for open spots, and we have new material nights for pro acts only, and the rule is you have to do new stuff. And that was in response to the many professional comedians we've seen stagnate and rest on a 20 for the last 20 years. I think there's a story of one comedian who did the joke so long he had to change it from him in the story to his son. He's been doing that joke for a generation. But it's like, I think the circuit's changed so much that you have to be constantly adapting. And I don't think that some comedians get less funny, it's that everyone else gets more and they just get left behind. And I've seen it happen so much. So we do the new material nights to encourage people to keep fresh, even if they don't know. And it's good because they apply, so we don't. It's just, and that's you just got to apply. If you want to gig, you can always gig with us. That's the kind of thing. There's a passion behind the build. There's a passion behind how we run it. So we like there to be a passion behind the people that perform. It's a very personal club. I've seen good acts not do well just because they don't have the same level of personality. It's a very polished set. It doesn't work. Polished sets don't work in our club. It has to be more loose and love. You know, it's that kind of thing. You know, and you see acts who are normally deadpan and they break character and just start laughing just because they're enjoying it. And again, that's kind of beautiful to see. You know, corpsing on stage. It's just the fun. I think it's the most, like, if you can make the comedians laugh on stage because they're enjoying it, I think you've really ticked the box. Totally. I mean, I used to go to the Comedy Store Gong Show first to see who was winning, but also to see how people were dying, not who and how. You know, there's something. There's an art to dying gracefully, especially in a gig that was quite brutal like that, but just in general. And I think you can learn more. I mean, everyone always says, you can learn more from your bad gigs than your good gigs, but there's something great about watching, and I don't mean it in a bad way if you're listening enough to watch you die, but I just mean there's something great about watching someone and how their flight or fight kicks in, and how they actually either hold that emotion or how they just let rip and have a go. I mean, Russell Hicks, a mate of mine, he's got a video online of him just laying into them because he's just watched them have a go at all his mates for like an hour.
And Russell Hicks is excellent. He's one of my favourite acts to watch because you never know what you're going to get with them.
Exactly.
But Russell approaches comedy with a purest point of view, and I think only now is he even starting to look about marketing.
Yeah, he's been talking to me about it all.
Yeah,
He keeps
like,
me
Russell. If Russell was the comedy club, he'd be me.
Yeah,
Being like, why do I need to advertise? It's like, because no one knows who you are.
Yeah.
Like, you're one of the best acts on the circuit, and you've got lesser acts doing better than you because they have an account on Twitter.
Yeah.
I didn't even think he had a Twitter account at one point, and it's just like it's admirable because he's done so well without it, and that's a purely like I should be recognised on my ability and talent alone. Was like, you've got to be seen to be recognised, and it's a hard, because like I say, if you're purist about it, you don't want to compromise your integrity by lessening what you've done by going, hey guys, take a look at me. Because the second you do that, if you're that type of person, you kind of feel like you've lessened your own craft or product. You know, because it should be like everyone just seeks you out, which is it's a borderline arrogant point of view, but it comes from a really nice place.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him down as arrogant.
No, he's not. He's not at all. But it's just sort of, it's almost naive, just going, everyone look at me.
Yeah. I
but it's beautiful. It's real. I admire him for it, because he's so determined and adamant to just do it his own way. Yeah. And it's a nice thing. You don't see it very often, that level of love for what you do, to not want to even damage the integrity of it in any way. Yeah. That you keep it in its most purest form, as I'm gonna do comedy. You can come see it. Yeah. Here's where I am at the end.
Where I take it as is, the circuit and especially TV and radio isn't always a meritocracy, and I feel like it's him going, I want this to be that, so I'm going to play the game like it's a meritocracy regardless. I'm not going to play the numbers on social media. I'm not going to play I'm not going to play those little games. I'm just going to be funny. Yeah. And I feel like, he didn't believe me, but I said one of my dreams would be to be well known enough I don't have to be on social media, because then you don't have to fuck around going, I'm going to
Here's a question though, like, how good would Russell be if he'd have spent any time on advertising instead of learning this craft? Would he even be as good as he is if he had bothered with Twitter? So where's the balance? Like, would he even be Russell Hicks if he had a Twitter account?
Well, that's the thing. I said to him that I'd be one of two ways that would go. One, you'd get obsessed with the numbers, you'd fall down the rabbit hole that everyone falls down, and you'd let your comedy slide, or you'd let your progression slide. Or you join it, you'd realise you don't like it, but you've got to do the bare minimum you can on it, and so people would be able to find you, and you still progress, so you would get more audience, so you'd be better because you'd not have to worry about having people in. Yeah. But we'll never know, because
on the plus side, his entire audience is pretty much based up of Russell Hicks fans. Yeah. Because if you don't know he's there, you have to go. Yeah. Only if you know, and if you know. Yeah. So his gigs are great.
But I think that's what I want. I only want people who know what I do and have friends who actively say to friends, I think you'd like this. Not, let's get everyone together. Yeah. Because you don't want. I personally don't want everyone coming and just because I did a DVD record 3 years ago, and like in the audience I could see people who'd bought friends who didn't like it, and that's not. I've got that memory forever now. Yeah. It's on fucking tape, and you don't need their faces looking at you going, "Did you really mean? Is this the guy?" And they're having a good time. Yeah. So it's just like one of those weird. Yeah. Like we all want our base. Yeah. You know?
That's all as well. That's all expectation meets reality as well. Yeah. It's like someone telling you a movie's good, and then you go into it expecting to be amazing, and then it's good, but it's not as good as you thought it was going to be, so now you're disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. So there's two things that have come out of that. Let's talk about progression ladder at the club, and then we'll talk about social media to do with the club and to do with the acts. Yeah. So let's say there's a comedian. In fact, we'll do it at two different stages. There's a comedian who's fairly new, however long you class that as, who wants to start gigging with you. What's the process for that, and what's the progression they could possibly get?
They just need to ask.
They just need to ask.
That's it. People, I think, the problem with, from what I see, the problem with the circuit is that there's a certain expectation established over the years, and when we started, we had that kind of like what people already knew and their experiences with progression and blacklists and politics, and they just projected it onto us, expecting us to follow the same mold. And like I said, when we started, we didn't do the research, and I don't mean that in that we didn't look at anything, we just didn't care about how it was, because that would just make us do the same thing. So we just did stuff with a level of common sense. And this projection that comes onto us, it happens all the time, and we're just like, people go, am I barred now? I said, why? I said, because I had a bad gig. I said, you had a bad gig? I said, you might just have to wait a little bit, but or do another spot. But why would do you know how much effort it takes to have a blacklist?
Yeah.
But we do have this projection onto us in terms of like I'm a bard. It's like the only way to get blacklisted from our club really is to stop emailing.
Right.
You blacklist yourself. It's like, because I don't know if you stop emailing. I get 1,000 emails a week, and then people go, he's not replying. It's like, do you realize how many emails I get? I used to reply to everybody religiously. I still watch every clip people send me. Don't email me every clip, everyone.
You're going to regret that.
I know. Why have I got 200,000 emails?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to take a month off.
Yeah. I think you've now overestimated my audience number.
but basically, there's a certain, like, I do watch everyone's clips. If you took the time to send me the clip, I take the time to watch it. I might not watch the whole thing, but I will watch it. You know,
So you're a freedom of speech advocate. So if someone came along and did a joke that some people might perceive as homophobic or racist or any of those, or even satirically in that area, you obviously take a judgment call case by case, but your freedom of speech, so you don't mind if someone's trying something out.
Yeah, I believe you can say whatever you want. There just has to be an attempt at being funny.
Yeah.
Because some people see Frankie Boyle and just go, "Oh, I can be offensive." It's like, yeah, so can I. But he's not. He's always trying to be funny within it. Like, he's trying to be offensive as well, but he is funny. I don't think he ever writes a joke and goes, "Oh, this will offend them." I do think he ends every joke he writes with goes, "Oh, this will get a laugh." You know, so it just has to be funnier than it is offensive, because you're always going to offend somebody.
Yeah.
And my genuine question to people is, can you even take offense if you didn't give it? Because I think then you've stolen my offense and you're in the wrong. You know what I mean? But it's like, if I say anything with no malice, can you actually be offended by it? You can correct me.
Yeah.
But you choose to take offense, and if you choose to take offense from someone who didn't mean any, like, sometimes it's just naivety, but naivety is not nasty. Naivety is just education.
Oh yeah.
You know, if that person's still saying it after you correct them, then it's offensive. But like, so I do believe you can say, within the bounds of common sense, you can say whatever you want. We encourage people to try. I mean, our original name was Comedy Hub. As in, it was always intended to be a massive place for people to come and try new things and just test things and push the barriers and be something new. And we didn't know we weren't something new at the time. We just thought we were a comedy club. I thought all comedy clubs had a stage and lights and mics and chairs, and thought about seating, and you know, but apparently it's not. Like, I'm flabbergasted that isn't the thing, because we set up our gigs right from day one, but we didn't even know we did. We just went, "Oh, this is how you do comedy." But we always strive to just keep improving. You know, like, my motto in life is just do it better tomorrow than it was today. Just change one thing, even if it's just one of the levels on the mixer, or the volume, or the gain on the mic, or the lighting level, the lighting temperature. Just change one thing. Try it. Is it your intro? Yeah, this will be a new intro for me. You know, because we do live intros. We don't have pre-recorded ones. And this is my worry about growing. It's like, it's really hard to teach someone to do a live intro, because, like, I'll adapt my intros if the audience don't laugh as loud or clap as loud as I want them to. I won't carry on with the intro. I've restarted a show before. We had a show once where the heckling just got out of hand. We don't get heckles very often, but this gig just started off with idiots. So I literally I cut the mic off the MC, which I've only ever done twice in the entire time of comedy, and never to do with the MC. I just cut the mic, cut the lights, restarted the show, intro music, and reinforced the rules with a massive level of sarcasm, and then gave the MC back the control of the room, because it was just a tennis match. They were heckling each other. It's like, the MC wasn't involved. You can't control something if you're not involved, you know. And then I forgot the question again. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I just want to know if you're okay. Checking if you're okay.
Clearly not. Clearly not. But what was our freedom of speech and
I agree with your
progression as well. Yeah. So the points I was making. Was I making a point? What's a point? What is a point? So
let's not get philosophical.
What am I? Who am I? When am I? The whole thing with progression is, again, it comes with a package of progression, and people think like, oh, I've got to do like 10 open spots, and then it's like, no, because that might be the comedy stores thing, or jonglers, God rest their soul, you know. But you had to do an open spot in this part of the country, and then travel another 100 miles to this part of the country, and this part. Why, if you were funny there, why do you need to be funny there too, and prove it all around the world? For those that don't have the visual aspect of this, my finger's pointing all over the place.
He's worked out what a point is.
I know what a point is now.
He just needs to work out when and who he is.
But so people think, like, the question I get asked a lot is, so how many spots do I have to do to get paid work? And I go, as many as it takes. Like, some people are funny straight away. Some people take 10 gigs. Some people take 100. Some people will never be the level they need to be.
Would you ever tell someone, I just don't think our audience is for you?
If they asked.
Okay.
I learned quickly, never volunteer feedback, because the only time you can give it in person is straight after the gig, and straight after the gig is the worst time to talk to an act, because they're either riding high still off the adrenaline or on the come down from the adrenaline, and it'll never be received well, even if it's honest and not meant with any malice and constructive. Nobody wants to hear that their thing that they made was less than what they wanted it to be, even if it was good. Like, if I made a cake and someone went, it was good, it wasn't the best cake I ever had, I'd be like, oh. Yeah. You know, I'd still, you know, I'd go out and try and make a better cake, but I would still be like, I thought that was the best one I did. Crap. And a lot of the problem we have with progression is that people benchmark themselves against themselves, which is great from a driven point of view. But when you're booking a gig, you're not benchmarked against yourself. Your best gig could be that gig that night, but your best gig is still not as good as you know, the veterans on the circuit. You know, the consistently funny, you know, Martin Moore, who's, you know, he's a legend, isn't he? You know, but he's that good. You book him, he'll smash it, he'll come, he'll be happy, he's a nice man, he'll go, and you're like, perfect act, you know, consistently funny, amazing, and just a lovely fella. And they're the sort of the things that you look at. You know, the trials in our club are part on stage and part in the green room, because, like I say, it's a personal space. We've built it with personality. If you're just in it for the money and come 2 seconds before you spot and leave 2 seconds after you spot, it's hard for me to get on board with you as an act. I mean, I still listen to the crowd. I'm not an idiot. If they're laughing, it's a win. But there is you're trying to craft a good lineup. You want people just with that love that shines through. You know, you got people coming up like Gary Meikle, and just loves it. Absolutely loves it. Evan Demeray loves it. Loves comedy. Says yes to a gig. Doesn't even ask the fee. Yeah. Just like, I'll be there. It's you know, he's already there. It's like, it's not for 2 weeks, mate. Get out of my house. So, you know, the people that drive and passion, and I know it's a hard circuit to be in. You know, it's a hard one, because comedy is essentially a hobby that gets lucky. You know, it's like anything though. So, you know, people golf and then get good. Not everyone's Tiger Woods. You know, and some people are never going to be a pro golfer, no matter how much golf they play. And comedy is no exception to that. I mean, it's a weird one.
God, that's so depressing to hear, but so true.
Yeah, it is. But it's finding your place within the comedy. Yeah, like, there's always a space for you somewhere. It might not be club gigs, but Edinburgh's a great place for people to be whatever they want to be for a month and find their audience and find their voice. And, like, you know, you can find how you can tailor your set to work in a club, or you can decide that, well, actually, club stuff's not for me. I might just get a profile and do a tour. You know, Paul Smith's on tour at the minute, and he's no agent, no real TV credits. You know, no, he's never left Liverpool. Yet, pretty much, you know, the entire country is buying tickets to go see him. He's a complete anomaly in the circuit of how you can win at comedy without really playing that game. So I think, especially with the way when we started, you know, we set out just to be funny, and then now what we've done is pretty much create a new path that isn't in London, that doesn't involve TV. There is a way to actually do well on the circuit without having to do this game that everyone thinks is the only way to get good in comedy. But it just goes to show as well, that's also probably not the only way. But everyone gets stuck into this mold, and this is what goes back to when I said I didn't do the research in it, because I think idiots come up with the best ideas, because they're not bound. But if you ask a scientist about science, he'll give you an answer framed with exactly what he knows is possible. If you ask an idiot about science, he'll just go, levitating shoes. You know, scientists would never come up with the ideas because they're bounded in their own bubble.
They're restricted.
And you ask an idiot, you get the best answers.
Yeah,
you know,
sometimes.
To be fair, even the crap ones are great. But they're not bounded, so they just try stuff. You know, like it's like the monkey story. You know, the monkey and the banana.
Thousand Typewriters make Shakespeare, that one?
No, the one where basically they put a banana at the top of a ladder, and every time the monkey climbs up, they shoot him off with some water, and then the monkey watches him, he tries, gets shot off, and eventually the monkeys stop trying, and they replace all the monkeys so that none of them have ever tried, turn the water off, and they don't get any bananas ever, because they don't climb the ladder.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. If you think
sounds like a really fun and cruel day at that science lab. Do you know what I mean? Like they're sitting around going, we could solve cancer. Let's put a banana on top of the tree. Let's do that, guys. Yeah,
but it's just an analogy for how conditioning can stop you actually achieving things.
Yeah.
Because you've just been told it can't be done.
Well, this was the weird question, because I had, and I won't name who it is because it's not fair to them, but I had a few friends of mine, and one in particular messaged me before Edinburgh going, should I do this? And I was like, why are you asking me? You know if you want to do it. And they were like, no, but I don't know if I should do it. And I'm like, well, you're asking me, so you clearly want to do it. Do it. And I bumped into this particular person the other day, and I said, how's the show going? And they went, oh, it's just great, I'm really loving it, you know, like someone's up, someone's down, but I'm having a great time, and I'm learning from everything, blah blah blah. And my friend came over and said, oh, why didn't you fully, you know, commit to an answer? Why didn't I fully commit to an answer for him? And I said, because I told him he could do it if he wants to do it, and he can make up his own mind. And he said it was a very freeing way of looking at it, where you go, well, I clearly want to do it because I wouldn't even consider it if I didn't, you know, have it in my mind.
Yeah.
And but he just needed someone else for some reason to go, oh, I don't have to be constricted where, I'm not going to name it, but where he runs that gig. I can bring it up to Edinburgh and try and promote it here and stuff. So I think the problem is that a lot of people who are in comedy starting in a day job or have got a day job, and there's like a path on those, and there's like you kind of following the person in front of you or the manager or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so you think comedy works the same way, whereas in my opinion, or at least my experience, I'm building what I want to do in it, rather than looking at it and going, oh, okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are paths and narratives and things I'm learning from other people who've done it or done similar better and are more famous than me. But you don't have to think, I can't do that because it's not something I've already done.
Yeah. It's like following everybody up the stairs, and then the guy next to you is building an escalator.
Yeah.
You know, but if you just watch stairs all the time, you just walk like forever. You just got to try stuff all the time. Don't be. But
not enough people do that.
I suppose it's a risk if you try something completely new. It's like there might be a reason no one's ever done it. But that reason might just be because you're the only one to ever think of it.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I like the fact that I like the feeling of learning. That's a really important one for me. But I also like the feeling of this might fail. Like, I know it sounds horrible, but like if you start something and there's a real possibility you're going to look like a tit, or you're going to just fall on your face, and then you get the opportunity to learn even more because you learn why it went wrong, or you try and self-reflect. So for me, those are all really good things.
Yeah, well, I think the best thing in life is making mistakes.
Yeah,
making them again and again is an issue.
Well, that comes back to what you said before.
Yeah, don't make the same mistake twice.
Yeah,
you do it, you move on, you learn.
3 times is three. Fool me once is fine.
Oh no,
fool me twice is bad, and then 3 times is the problem.
No, I'm a 1 in.
Oh, okay.
Just don't make any mistakes. Just keep going.
Sure.
Well, that just goes into what I said earlier. You know, change one thing every day. Just try it. Just try and make it slightly better always. Yeah. And that's the thing. We're constantly looking to always improve the club. You know, so like the new club is exactly the same as the old one, but it's just been amped up a notch, every single bit of it. Like our first stage was just a nightclub DJ booth, and then you know the next stage was a wooden, you know, we had pallets and stuff, and then and banners, upright banners, and then the next stage was a 4-piece block work thing that could come apart and that connected together to form a stage with a brick wall that was wallpapered on. And then after that, you know, we got the club where we used brick slips, and you can't tell from our stage until you hit it, but part of the brick wall is tiled to brick, another part's tiled to metal, and another part's tiled to plasterboard. So wherever you hit it, it sounds like a wall, metal, and goes, hey, hollow? What the hell bricks are these? And then 8 years later, we finally got a real brick wall that we built. So we built an actual wall downstairs in the new club, so it only took us 8 years to get real bricks.
Yeah.
But like it's that thing, like we could have said these brick slips, that's how we do our stage. The end, hashtag finished.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, that's the thing that drives us constantly, is like, how can I get it better? I was like, well, real bricks, that's the way forward now. We've got the opportunity and the money to do it finally. And that's the thing. So no matter how much money we get, I just spend it proportionately.
Yeah.
So we always seem to have nothing left and just keep constantly reinvesting it into the clubs. It's the same with the lights. And I go, this light's good, but I think this light's better. I'm going to get this light now. And then I go, I'm going to buy that light for the other club now.
Yeah.
And I just have spare lights everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
Love lights.
Yeah. You can't be lit enough. I think.
No.
Yeah. I forget the acoustics, just the lighting of the thing. Okay, so there are a few other questions I want to ask that are normally around clubs and in that sort of area.
Yeah.
I think they're probably redundant, just because of the way you answered those, but I'm going to ask them.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've answered any of the questions you've asked. Maybe
Still
I've
don't know
answered
how
the
you
future questions. Yeah, I've answered the future questions.
Yeah. That's
Maybe if you just transpose all the answers, like one question along, you're probably more likely to get a better
that'd be a bloody
flow.
good edit. That'd be like the Trump edit of that, where it's just like, why did you start the club? Lights are really important.
Yeah.
Well, because there's a lot of talk of the impact of TV on the careers of comedians, and a lot of clubs in London use those as marketing tools. For example, as seen on or with Netflix special, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Does that work with your club? And if not, or if so, why?
In terms of like the
bringing
acts
in
we
people,
book.
yeah. And do you take that into account?
To be honest, we do a night which is called As Seen on TV, and that's the night where we do the new material, and then we have a TV headliner. And I mean, I'm talking a loose TV credit.
Yeah.
And the reason it's loose is because I don't think anybody really cares. I think if you're on tour, then yeah, obviously Deliso and Britain's Got Talent has helped us tour massively, and Tape Face and Rabbit White, and all that. They are riding the back, and I think, but Britain's Got Talent and all that, I think it's the only bit of TV really that you can do. I mean, Ian Sterling and Love Island, has helped, but I think for the most part it has less and less impact now, I think, unless you're on something that everybody watches, because I think the average age of a TV watching is like 65 or 60, but they're not coming to comedy. They're not the demographic. I mean, they wouldn't make it up the 2 flights of stairs.
Is that where you've future-proofed this in? So it's like, you guys aren't going to come in. We don't care.
Well, to be fair, we actually have a lift.
Well, now you do, because you were seeing everyone on the stairs and you thought we need to improve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's hidden.
Oh,
we
really?
have a sign saying, if you want to use the lift, let the staff know, but it's at the top of the stairs.
Oh, really?
This is funny.
That's quite good. I like that idea.
But we actually looked for quite a while to find a disabled accessible venue, because most comedy's in a basement or a loft. And it's like, so it's a nightmare. So, and we even put a ramp in our stage so everybody could perform. And I think the whole club's ethos is about inclusion, because comedy for me is a great equalizer. No matter what you look like or who you are or anything like that, on stage you're just judged by your jokes. No one, very few people look at someone and goes, oh, I don't like them because they're a woman, or don't like them because they're not the same colour as me. Very few people, and them people get dealt with very quickly.
Yeah.
I won't tolerate any of it. It's just not right. That's not what we're about. But we are massively on inclusion anyway. So, and then again, that whole, I won't even go into it because it just bring it down and everything. But like the gender bias thing is projected, and it's perception, and even the click. It's a big click down there. It's like, no, they're just closer. Yeah. Like, it's physics. It's maths. It's literally a locus around the club. It's like, if you look at the most common acts at the club, you'll find they're within a 10-mile radius. Yeah. I was like, and that is literally just, I mean, you're welcome to come down as many times as you want if you're willing to make the 200-mile trip. Yeah. And some people do, to be fair. I mean, Gary Meikle's in Scotland, and he's been at the club more than some of the Manchester acts. Yeah. But that's passion and drive, and it's rewarded because you see the people who want it, and you're like, I want to work with you, and I see you being amazing in the future, and if I can support that passion and drive rather than quench it and kill it and be like, do 12 more open spots. That's the stuff that kills passion and drive. It's like,
it's not seeing the end result. It's not seeing a progression.
But people don't see everything. That's the problem. They just see the little bit and just be like, oh, Adam Rowe gets loads of gigs with Hot Water. That's because Adam Rowe turned up every gig when we first started. We didn't know Adam Rowe at the beginning. He turned up to every gig. He was there for every cancellation. He helped us out massively because we didn't know. We didn't have a list of people to ring in an emergency. It was just him and Lewis Calvert and Tony Carroll just there going, I'll fill your gaps, I'll take the stage. And it wasn't selfless. for them, they got the stage time out of
Yeah.
it. But it was also, they didn't have to do it every week. They could have gone out to the pub, or they've all got jobs in the spare time. And now if you look at
spare time,
if you I'll do this hobby, I might get a little side job. And I mean, look at Adam Rowe now. That hunger, and it's rewarded because he's a massive friend of the club. He's pretty much part of it, in its history, and he's got his face on the wall. Because I think Adam did like his second ever gig with us, and now he headlines. And tying this back into the progression tree, I'm basically just making this the hardest podcast you'll ever edit by answering questions 4 questions ago. But if you look at the progression tree, it's probably one of the only clubs in the entire country where you can do your first gig and headline.
If we can say and do your last gig.
Well, I suppose one of them would be your last.
Yeah. One of them.
What a morbid end.
I think that's the fun of this for me, is you never know when your last gig will be.
Yeah. But yeah, so it in terms of progression, if you have the drive, and I mean now it's harder, because more people know about it. It's like that. Everyone knows about it now. Where in the beginning it was kind of known to a select few. Secret, so it was much easier. We didn't know as many people, so there wasn't as much competition. But it's still possible, Like I say, Gary's gone from an open spot to weekends in quite a quick time. Even
what do you think? Because you mentioned quotas there, or you mentioned the percentages of male to female acts, or even just anything to white male acts, essentially. What do you think of that in general in the industry, and has it ever come up? Like, have you ever been accused of being biased to a certain group?
Yeah, it happens loads. It happens loads, but it's a thing I didn't even think about, because people got in touch. I watched their clips. I booked the ones I thought was funny. The whole gender bias of it, I didn't know existed at the time. This is why, because it shouldn't bother me, because I don't have anything to really defend. In my opinion, I mean, maybe we could do more to offset the balance, but me personally, I don't believe in favouring one thing over the actual ability. It's like, I'm not going to book somebody because they're a woman or because they're back to fill a quote. I don't believe in quotas, because in promoting one side, you are leaving another one out. It literally doesn't work. The only way for me to do it properly is just to keep booking people who are funny. But the problem is, I think, and if there was one sort of message to get out, I think that projection onto us means some female acts just don't apply, thinking, I never get booked by them. It's like, if you don't email, like I said, I want people to want to perform. It's a personal club. It's not a business. We're not backed by breweries and sponsors and investors. Me and my brother paid our own money for what, 5 years? It was, I ate a lot of tins of beans. But we put our own money for 5 years to do this, and we do it how we think is right, and with a good code of ethics, and then you get people who just go, I don't get booked. They don't book women. It's like, we don't book not funny people, and we definitely don't book bellends.
Especially people who are spreading things without factual information. Like,
I think the whole gender bias thing, I mean, with us, it's for me has never been an issue, because if you're funny, you're funny. Like,
and specifically when you say that, you mean funny to you and the audience you bring in.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people don't realise that you can be very funny in Club A, you're just not very funny in Club B, and it doesn't mean that you're not funny. It just means that who you're cultivating and bringing in.
It's the right fit.
Exactly.
It's like having a jazz drum in a rock band.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're a bad drummer. You're just the wrong beat. That's just a fact. Not everybody's going to be good everywhere.
Yeah. But there's a naivety to that when people start, where they go, I want to be able to play every room. And I was like that when I first started. I was like, I want to play every room.
It's a good challenge.
No, it's not though. Well, I mean, it slows you down, because it means that you want to play a wedding, and you want to play like a toilet in Edinburgh. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, why do you think, how can you be that arrogant that you think your material will transcend both those things? It might do, but it just seems
me
really
personally,
odd.
I like the challenge of adapting your material on the fly to make it funny. That's kind of my way of gigging. I just want to make people laugh.
Yeah.
So it's the challenge of going. I once did a charity gig and died so badly that when I came off stage, I went around every table and told them jokes individually.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say you apologised.
I'll never apologise.
Yeah. No, I know, but
I didn't make them come.
I'm so sorry for that joke. Yeah, it was
I mean,
really
to be fair,
bad.
I died because no one could hear me.
Oh, okay.
It was a bad setup, and I just thought, no, they're going to hear some jokes. They've paid for jokes. I'm going to go around and people laughed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's just, I just want to make people laugh. That's all I really want to do. This whole projected politics and all that. I think the reason we've done so well is just because we just stayed out of it. It's like, nah, not for me. It's like running the race and looking behind you never really gets you anything. Or where's everyone else? What's everyone else doing? It's like, I'm just doing this.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I'm researching the fire eggs and soundproofing. What are you doing? I'm watching you. Yeah, I'm doing more than you right now.
Well, okay, let's talk about your audience then.
Just before what I was going to say is like literally, if you think we don't book women or black people or disabled people, your assumption is what's not getting you booked because you're not emailing.
Yeah.
Like literally just email, and just because you don't get a reply doesn't mean you're not. You doesn't mean you're being ignored. It just means I've got a lot of emails. But the second you stop emailing is the second you stop gigging. For us, I literally just keep applying and just keep your head up about it, because there is no real blacklist. There are a few people we just don't like to work with. That's not the same as a blacklist, because they can talk to us, and you know what I mean. It's like, even if like an actor was racist, they could stop being racist. And then they'd be, it's like, it's not a never-ending thing. Like, you will never work in it. How hard it is to hold a grudge? Too busy. Too busy. Work 6 months straight. I don't have time for grudges.
Yeah, totally.
You know, so that'd be the best message to get out there. Really, is just like, but also just keep emailing. But
also realizing, and part of this podcast for me has really added a lot of empathy to your side of this, because like you said, you might get 1,000 emails in a week, right, and you can't get back to everyone anymore, even though you might want to, and in your heart of hearts kind of like to, and so just because I didn't get a reply doesn't mean that I wasn't funny or whatever, or let's use me as an example. It's just because on those lineups where you were doing them at that time, I didn't fit, or you were full, or you know, you didn't have time because you were buying lights, or you know, like it could be any other factor, and to jump to it's because of this, that's could be the case in other clubs, but I know, for example, there are I've compared you guys to Angel, for example, in London, and Monkey Barrel up here. There are clubs who are building their own model, and you shouldn't project your experiences with, let's say, junglers, because they're no longer around, so I can do that. You shouldn't expect your experience with those. No,
because projecting the same thing to every club is the same as me projecting the same thing to every woman act. Yeah. Like, if a woman act isn't funny, that person's not funny. Yeah. So why would people do it with clubs? It's literally, people always do the same things and they don't realise it. The same things that they moan about, but they don't translate it to the thing that they're talking about. Oh yeah. And it literally makes no sense. I
think people do, like, they are their biggest enemy in a lot of ways, and that's comes into that whole thing. And where you said before, where it was the you're taking offence even though I haven't given it. Yeah. It comes back to that again, where you're assuming things when we haven't given you any reason to assume that. Yeah. Yeah.
And there is an issue on the circuit. I'm not naive or blind to it. Yeah. But definitely there's nothing I can do about that. I can only try and set the standard that I work to and hope people, like, it's not my job to change the world. I mean, and even change the circuit. All I can do is be a better part of it and hope that people see that. But everyone will see. Perception is, you can't change perception because it's not defined by reality. It's just defined on the little window and snippet of life and things that people have seen at the time. And I don't know what they've seen. I don't know what video they've seen. It'd be like, oh, I don't like that act. Is that what that club books? It's like, no, that was just that act. But you're fine. You can make your mind up. But like I said, you can choose to email. You can choose not to email. It's one of those, like, I love comedy. That I don't. It's not even comedy that I love. It's seeing people laugh that I love. Yeah. Just happens that comedy causes that. But like, it's the only reason I can justify doing 6 months straight, you know, and nearly killing myself. It's just because I go, if I do this, if I just make this angle like this, it'll be funnier. Yeah. You know, and again, everything is just done to make people laugh more. You know, I live in a philosophy that the MC shouldn't get the first laugh of the night. They should have already laughed. You know, by that point, the MC should be getting the second laugh, the third laugh already, because the people should be looking at stuff. We've got a sweet shop in the other club, and it's just so when people arrive, they go, "Oh, sweets." Yeah. Literally, and 1 in 20 people will walk in and go, "Oh, sweets," because it'll just instantly remind you of being a kid. Kids laugh, kids are free, and everything, and you can leave all your troubles at the door and have a good night of comedy, and that's it. Just because it makes you in a better mindset to laugh. Like I said, the level of actual stuff in the club that's been thought about is borderline worrying. Because it's like, do you not have any friends? No, I don't.
I don't think it is, because like you said at the start, where you said clubs take the same route as comedians, where they start with open mic and they build that, they just build up from there. Same, I don't have any friends. I'll
be your friend.
But it's, oh, thanks, man. Long distance friends. That's pretty much the only friends I have, actually. like I've got one in Edinburgh, I've got one in America, and I've got one in Liverpool.
At least you've always got a couch to sleep on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, have you got a nice set couch? Is that?
Yeah, it's
okay, cool.
Comfy.
Nice. Was that planned for comedians as well?
I have like 3 comedians living in my house.
Oh really? Because Trish, who's my friend who runs in Taunton, she actually converted her attic space, like she got into a room, because she had so many comedians who she was booking who couldn't afford to stay overnight in places and stuff. So she was like, oh, we'll do that, and the cat now lives in that space as well. So they spend the whole night with the cat and stuff. It's really sweet. It's really lovely. So yeah, I think.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like the comedy doesn't start and end at the stage. It's a massive community, and it's supposed to be. That's what it's about.
But this is the thing. I try and I hope this podcast reflects that. I try and hold down the idea that we're all in this together, but we all have individual targets, so we can't do everything for each other, so we do support each other, but we do have to break away every now and then and follow our own passion.
Well, yeah, because it is still a business at the end of the day. Starbucks doesn't help Costa, but I'm pretty sure they'd lend them some sugar.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they're not complete.
No,
it's not completely disjointed.
So you don't see other clubs as a rival. You don't see them as, or just
I don't really,
a friendly rival.
It's not even a rivalry, I don't look.
Okay.
It's not like
you wouldn't go visit another club just to see, or
I'd go to see the acts.
Oh, okay.
I don't go. I mean, you can't not look at what's around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to be fair, when I walk in and just go, the lighting's off.
Yeah.
It's wrong temperature. To be fair,
how can I say this out loud? Walk in and just go,
oh no, I'm a proper diva. Yeah, I've gone to gigs that I'm performing at, and moved everything.
Well, I move chair. I do a little bit of chair adjusting in every gig.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think if I ever played the O2, I'd just walk in and just move a few chairs around and just be like, guys, these are slightly ajar. I need it to face me better.
Yeah, but it makes me sound like a massive diva, and it's not, because it's only to make it better. Like that's But I'll always talk to whoever's promoting the gig first, and I just go, your levels are off on the mix. Any chance do you want me to adjust them? It's like, or do you want me? Do you know what? If you just move them around, you just have a nice gig. Like I say, it comes from that. It's the most arrogant thing you can ever do in the nicest way possible. Yeah, because it comes from a good place. I'm still a bellend.
But that is comedy in a nutshell. Like, you are trying to improve people's lives. You're trying to make them laugh and forget about their life, but in the most arrogant way.
I said, I just want people to have the best night they can have, and especially if the fix is free. Like, why wouldn't you do it? Yeah. And it would take a higher level of arrogance to go, no. Yeah. It's like acts, and you say, actually, have you considered this punchline? I just think and then the act goes, no. Which I've had acts do that, and I'm like, why would you not want to be better? Yeah. You can, even bad comedians can give you good advice. Everybody can give you good advice. Completely. And this sort of state, like you see a status things like, I don't need to listen to you. It's like, no, you need to listen to everybody. Paul Smith. You
don't have to take it on board, but you definitely have to listen, because then you get the perspective. Because every person, so I don't mean to interrupt you, but every person listening to a joke is going to get it slightly differently because of their life and their history and their perspective, all that sort of stuff. So you need that, so that when you write the next one about that subject or in that area, you understand how people are interpreting it, how people are taking it on board. So I completely agree with that.
Yeah. It's like Paul Smith is one of the most humble acts I've ever met. Like, he listens and he goes away and he comes back and he does something differently. Even if it was an awkward conversation in our early days, he was still learning how to work a room, because he was our first resident host, and he would just always listen and be so humble. Like, he's one of my favourite people, because he's exactly like he is on stage, off stage. He's just a dead nice, likeable person, who just wants to make people laugh. So I can relate to that. And if you just listen to people, you just do better. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't not take feedback on the club. Like, someone gives me feedback, I'm going back now to change all the seats. Yeah. So it's like, I'll never be so arrogant to think I built a perfect club. And someone goes, have you ever thought about this? When I didn't actually. That's a great suggestion.
You do know you're probably going to get one troll turning up at your club just going, I feel if you turned all the chairs round, it would make the club a lot better. Yeah. You could just go, well, I mean, we could try it if that's the new trend.
Yeah. Hey, do you ever think there's too much leg room?
Yeah. Have you ever thought of just putting all the comedians on at once and seeing
mezzanine?
Yeah. To be fair, I do love a mezzanine. Have you seen the caves have got like an amazing mezzanine room where like it's just like above you, but you can't tell because it's so high up.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. Yeah.
No,
I don't know how high your ceilings are, but like in the
not
new
very,
one,
no,
they're not a high ceiling in the new one.
No, they're 205 centimeters. I think they are.
Okay.
Or 230.
Okay.
With the
so not enough.
No, we lowered them.
Oh, right.
Deliberately. As I say, we chose everything in the club. We chose where every socket is, how high the ceiling is, what soundproofing we did, the width, the depth, everything. Literally, you got to pick everything. But I've never realised how much choice there is. Like, I don't like decisions.
It's like a video game character when you first start making it. It's like, oh, just select the eye. Hello, why am I doing this?
But it's worse because it's like having to choose how high up his belly button is.
Yeah.
How deep the belly button. Like, it goes, like, if you pick a socket, you plug your phone in on charge, you take that socket for granted. Someone had to pick what colour it was, what voltage it would need, what was running on it, how high up off the floor, and how far across the wall. And it's like, I just want someone to charge my phone. Yeah. I mean, can I use your charger or not?
yeah.
But it's a massive, just endless sea of choices that every single thing has to be picked and ordered, and like even these lights will have a beam angle and a temperature, and
there's lights in the room, by the way. So
obsessed with lights. I need help.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do the last quick fire questions.
Yep.
They're quick for me. You take as long as you like to.
No, I guarantee they won't be quick.
I was going to say. The thing is, you've kind of answered the first one, so I'm going to move on to the second one. What is the biggest mistake you've ever made, and how did you overcome it?
I'm not actually sure. In terms of like personal,
I keep it vague, so it can be whatever you like.
I'm not really sure. I feel like not being able to answer this question just makes me go like, I've never made a mistake. I don't know. Do you know what I think? I don't really know, because I don't really see mistakes as mistakes. I just see them as ways to learn. You know.
Okay, what's the biggest lesson?
I thought recently the biggest mistake was not asking for planning permission.
Oh wow!
For the new club, and then having to scramble around. But luckily, I know people now, and we got it all sorted before we opened. But yeah, I went, crap. We didn't ask.
Yeah.
But I always believe in asking for forgiveness over permission. But apparently, the planning department don't take that as an excuse.
the town planning department are like, well, that works for jokes, but that does not work for building the club.
Yeah.
The
fire department need to visit this. I went, why? I said, they need to check your smoke alarm system. I went, what smoke alarm system?
we don't allow smoking in the venue. Why would they?
Yeah. Non-smoking venue, including fires. Smokeless fires.
Yeah. We've got those new modern fires that are like LEDs.
Do you know, I genuinely don't understand fires. I admire. I admire arsonists, because I can't light a barbecue with the thing that's designed to catch fire. How the hell do you start a fire? How do accidental fires start? I can't start a fire on purpose. I just don't believe. I don't believe it.
You don't believe in arson?
What I'm saying is, if it was left for me in the wilderness, I'd be dead.
Okay. I think that's the case for a lot of people now. I met a dog the other day. This is relevant. But I met a dog the other day, and I just thought to myself, if we hadn't helped you get out of the food chain, you'd be dead by now. Like, there's no way you would have survived because you're just cute and you have no survival skills. It's just not possible. I don't believe for a second you'd be alive right now. And they're cute, so it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, supposed to descend from wolves.
So it's helpful you're cute, because otherwise you'd... You didn't see where that was going, did you?
No, I am adorable.
All right. When you made that face, I thought you were like just going, I can't believe I just got a compliment. No, you were like, actually, it's upgrade, mate. Yeah. I'm adorable. Yeah. I'm not just cute.
I don't question the compliments anymore. I don't get enough. So I'm owning it. It's mine. Right. It's mine.
So pro tip, guys, if you're going to email in your clip, send a compliment too.
I am very lonely.
Yeah. Just be like, I heard you on that podcast. You sounded adorable. In fact, make that the first that's how we'll know. Anytime you email in, if you've heard this podcast, email him in and go, hey, Binty, you sounded absolutely adorable on that podcast. I'd love to come to the club.
Don't worry about coming down. I'll headliner.
Yeah. What is I'm going to ask it because I kind of want to know if there's a different answer you'd give me. But what is the biggest misconception people have about you? Maybe not about the club, but about you.
Me personally? Yeah. I don't know if it's a misconception. They just think I'm a mental bundle of Tigger wrapped in a 6'6" man. I think I'm the cutest tall person ever.
Fair enough.
No, just like how is he this sort of stupid? He's too big and clumsy. It's like I don't know. I don't know what the misconceptions are, to be honest. I think I come across arrogant sometimes. Maybe it's hard because I don't see myself and I only know the intention that I meant the things in. So from me, my perception of myself would be different to people's perception, because I mean everything well. Sometimes I say it badly and it sounds like an insult, and it's like, no, I've never really, I don't really insult anybody. I only insult people I like. It's like, if I've never insulted you, sorry, I don't like you. But yeah, you know, it's like banter, isn't it? You know, I insult people who are my friends.
Because
you
know the boundaries. And
and if I ever give feedback, the only time I ever give feedback without being asked is because I actually think you've got a lot of potential, and I'm like, I just want you to do better. I like you that much. I want you to do better. It's not like, I want you to do this way. It's like, actually, no, I just genuinely believe that you'll be a really good comedian one day. Like, I just think you've got so much potential, and I think you should. I get excited, and then I get blunt. But yeah, I am a very blunt person, but I just believe in efficiency. I just want things to be done, so I come across as blunt, I guess. But I don't mind. I don't mean it. So I think if people's perception of me is probably that I'm a bit arrogant sometimes, but really I just want everyone to do well. You know.
And the last question, who do you think's the most underrated person in the industry?
Underrated. I'm not too sure. I always make a point of recommending.
You're going to arrogantly go, me. Yeah, me. It was.
I am the most underrated person in the world.
And adorable. Don't forget adorable.
I am the most adorable, underrated person. Just going to be the podcast. Going to be that on loop.
I'm going to make that the headline of the title of the episode.
Don't. It just sounds horrible. But I don't know. I don't think there's the most underrated person. I think there are underrated people, and I always try and make a point of recommending those people. If people have done really well and they're not getting the gigs I think they deserve, I'll always make a point of going, this person. You know, even in Edinburgh, you just go around saying this person's show is excellent. You know, you might not sound it on the paper on the synopsis. If it's like, go see them, it's amazing. You know, I think I can't. It's a hard question, that one.
I know.
Like, I don't really underrated.
Don't have to.
Yeah, I don't know. There's too many people I think who just it's a hard one.
Okay.
I think it depends, because I think like the likes of Gary Delaney, he just like, I don't think people see how prolific he is.
Oh no, he is.
Yeah. I think, but people do see that. Maybe I think
we see that. I don't think the general public maybe see it.
Yeah. I think just anybody who does so much behind the scenes for so little. It's like the iceberg, isn't it? You do. There's loads underneath, and the little tip is what people see. You know. So it's same with the club. Same with people. No one sees the amount of effort. No one sees. Every comedian is the most underrated person in the world. No one will ever see you do the 200-mile round trip, getting stuck on the M6, crying into your own hands, stopping off, sleeping at a petrol station, eating a cold Ginster's pasty to go home to a house on your own and a dog that doesn't like you, going, I saved you from the food chain, love me! Sleeping on a friend's couch in the middle of nowhere. So I think every comedian is the most underrated person in the world.
You've just made about 8,000 new friends. Thank you very much for coming on.
Cheers.
Thank you. That was Binty. Hearing his drive to make people laugh, and how it happens to just be through the medium of stand-up at the moment, is a really interesting way of looking at it, and it's something that I don't think enough people think about. For me personally, I've been kind of blending bits of my sets with theatre in previews and in longer sets and in clubs. I trust the promoter will be okay with me playing around with these things in, and for me it's been a lot more fun to do something that's not just standing there telling jokes, and that's no disrespect to anyone who does that. I just find there are so many other ways to tell the story or express the joke that I think are more fun for me and more fun for the audience to watch. And so for me, that was a really interesting nugget of takeaway. A takeaway nugget. A McNugget, if you will. Other nuggets are available, by the way. I really enjoyed that. I think his point about how clubs follow a similar life cycle to comedians was also really interesting. I don't think enough comedians give enough thought to how clubs develop and why you should give chances to younger clubs and to clubs that are developing, because as long as you believe in what they're doing, hopefully there'll be a place that you can gig for a very long time in the future. So it's worth supporting them. Binty anyway, seems very relaxed about their place in the circuit, but also has a lot of drive and a lot of motivation to improve the company and constantly be expanding and constantly be working hard. And I can't thank him enough for taking time out of his busy schedule at the Edinburgh Fringe to talk to me and share this with all of you. So if you'd like to thank him, I've put links in the show notes to his and the club's social media channels. Please do tweet if you have the time. It really helps out the show, as it shows the guests that there are people listening and there are people supporting supporting and that it is valued what they say. So I would really appreciate that, and so would they. If you like this episode, you might also enjoy the episode with Ben Verth and John Miller of the Monkey Barrel Comedy Club. The Barrel Boys are amazing at what they do, and I felt like that episode very much complements this. I think I even mentioned it in this episode. It very much complements this episode because of the similar driving ethos of them starting a club because they want to see something happen in the city that they live in that isn't already occurring. And I found that really interesting. Also, the episode with Barry Ferns and Sarah Pierce from Angel Comedy. Again, another club that started out of wanting something lovely to exist in the comedy circuit in the city that they exist in, Edinburgh and London respectively, for those two sets of promoters. I think you'll get loads of information out of those, and I think you'll really enjoy hearing their story of how they carved out their place in the city's ecosystem and circuit, as well as how they managed to make theirs stand out in a way that I don't feel like a lot of clubs necessarily do. Like, they've got such a great story, but they've also got such a great team. And yeah, give those episodes a go. Before I sign off, I want you to very quickly know I'm doing the Edinburgh Fringe 2019. I'm very excited about it. I don't have any more information than that. I know I'm doing it at Sweet Venues in the Grass Market. I don't have the time slot for it yet. I don't have the exact room yet. I don't have the title for the show yet. I just know I'm doing a full run, except Wednesdays. When I get rudely awoken by the dustman. That's right, that joke is 4 years old, it's getting old, it's not working, and I think most people are bored of it, but I'm loving it still. So, but the jokes in it will be brand new. So if you want to come and see me, please keep an eye out for that and search for me in the Fringe app. Also, I'll be previewing from January, why am I saying it like that? January down to July, and then I'll be doing a tour from September through to the start of November, as per usual, like I do every year. So if you want to know any more information about that, please follow me at This Made Me Cool, or check out my website, which is simoncaine.co.uk. Both of those places will have the most up-to-date information on it for where I'm going to be and what I'm going to be doing. At the moment, nothing is confirmed, but everything's up in the air. But I wanted to flag it with you so that in the future, when it is confirmed, you'll be like, oh yeah, I should probably check that out. And actually, one thing that is confirmed is I'm doing the Bloomsbury Theatre on the 21st of March 2019. I'm not doing the 2019 show, I'm doing the 2018 show, Sex, Drugs and Other Things I Never Do, and I'm hoping to have it recorded for a DVD. So, and by DVD I mean YouTube release, because DVDs are so 2009. But yeah, so that's my plan anyway. I'm still sorting out someone to record it and all that sort of stuff. So if you want to take part or you want to come down and support me, please do. If you would like to get your tickets for cheap, please do. The code I've given for this is tweet me or message me somehow. My favourite flavour of macaroon is strawberry, and I'll give you the discount code for, I think it's half off your tickets at the Bloomsbury, so you can come down for cheap. So if you would like to come and you are an avid listener, or you've come to see a preview or a tour or something at some time, then you can get your tickets for cheap. If you are a new person to see me, it's a great show. It's been getting great reviews. It's been really doing well. Then you can come see the show for, I think it's £12, £10, £12, something like that. It's not overly expensive anyway, especially for the West End. So please do that. That'd be amazing. Yeah, I really appreciate all of your support and for everything that you've given me so far. The Ask the Industry podcast is a Fruit That Got in Gravity's Way production for the internet. All elements were created by me, comedian Simon Caine. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for subscribing. And thank you very much for rating and donating if you do. Or just coming to see me live. Or coming to see a preview. It's the same thing. Both of those are live. Shut up, Simon. I'll see you all in about 14 days' time. Bye.